All right. Thanks, Karen.
Right.
All right. So there's some good setups this week, guys. It's looking pretty good. The volume is, kicking in again. But we've been seeing for the last weeks anyway, last few weeks, we've definitely been seeing, high volume weeks followed by, consolidation where, most of the major pairs are moving sideways. Then they'll begin to move again, increase volume, and so on and so on. So this is one of those weeks that's looking promising. So we're going to get into a bunch of setups. And yeah, it looks good. So I'll start off sharing.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, I did a little bit of analysis here, prepping for the week, and there's definitely going to be a few trades that I'm going to give out. Let's get right into it.
Also, yeah, okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, there's definitely some good setups. But also, guys, we when we did the Friday market recording, did you guys like it how you were able to watch it in the Telegram, or do you like the live sessions better? Just let me know in chat if you were able to watch that video. If it was more convenient for you that way. But while you guys are typing, I'm gonna get into it. Pretty much gonna break down the pairs that I usually do: DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ, and gold. Gold is actually looking super plain this week, but we'll get to that. So we're going to start off on DXY, and I'm just going to take you guys to the daily time frame where we're going to grab sentiment on every pair. So we're going to do this on every pair, grab the sentiment, grab the trend, drop down to the 4 hour, and then see what this week could hold for us in terms of potential movements. All right, so we're here on the daily. We were very bearish for a little while over here. Right, price action was falling pretty hard. We broke through major monthly support at 91.5, and then we started finding a support down at 90, so a lower high. So that confirmed this is a definite downtrend. But then we started pushing up again. Some positive news came out. We made some adjustments to the dollar, and now we're more or less stabilized. Okay, so it pushed up, came back down, same thing, found support at 90, and now we're back in a we're in mid rally essentially, something like we saw over here before, where it broke back above the monthly, came back, tested it, gave us a very clear double bottom, and then took off to its next point. So we could be seeing something similar, but we do have a bit more consolidation here than we did here. So let's drop to the 4 hour, get a closer look. We know that we are newly bullish, right? And we're just above this monthly. So let's drop down, see what's going on. Okay, so here's that zone, 91.5. Let me just zoom out a little bit, get a little more price action in view here. Okay, very, very bullish, guys, right? After we found support down here, thing took off, huge volume. We're now above 91.5. It came back, retested, instant rejection right off this level. Very good to see. And then it continued higher again. But now we have clear resistance, we have clear support. So this is more or less ranging. So what do we do when we see a range? We really, our options are very limited at that point when we see this happen. We are more or less waiting for a break to the downside or break to the upside. Now, because we know we're super bullish as long as we're above 91.5, pretty much all scenarios are bullish until this is broken, meaning it could pull back, touch 38.2 once again, just a deeper pullback. Maybe it wicks the 200 EMA here. It gives us a more, definitive higher low, and then resumes, bullish momentum to a new high, new resistance. So that's possible. But yeah, again, as long as we're above 91.5, it's generally bullish here. So that's what we're looking for. So we're either going to continue with the range or it's going to pull back for a deeper pullback, which case we'll reanalyze, and then we'll go over a break or bounce scenario here at the monthly. So it's kind of hard to say what gold's going to do right now. We're really pretty much just playing the game of waiting for confirmations. So we'll see how this week plays out. Luckily, some of the other pairs are a little more clear in their TA, so there are some good setups, even though DXY doesn't seem to be moving too much. But again, that could change, Monday, Tuesday. We'll see. So let's move over to AU. First tradable pair, which is looking, again, this one's looking super clean. If we do see some sporadic movement out of DXY this week, this could all change, obviously, as we know. But as I have labeled here, these are the two highest probability setups that we'd be interested in trading. Of course, something else could happen here. Price action could flatline for a couple days and then take off, could rip saw, could give us fake outs. Of course, that can happen. There's obviously more scenarios here than just two. However, these are the best scenarios out of all of the possibilities here. And only in these scenarios is where we would be interested in taking trades. Okay, so let me just jump to the daily real quick. I want to show you guys the overall trend and break it down a little bit further. Okay, so we were very much bullish for a while, and then once we broke this weekly here, right at 0.76, we were forming higher lows, and then we started kind of flatlining here with this, or we started ranging with high volume. So that's what this is here. This is a pretty big range, large volume, but it's just not really choosing a direction. It's just going sideways. So, as it was progressing and as we saw the dying of the bullish momentum, we were definitely able to see this as a reversal. And then once it broke the weekly, we confirmed that. And then the lower high confirmed it again. So definitely bearish here on the daily, which was nice to see. This was definitely a really great break. Pretty much textbook at that point. All you could ask for was just clean break and retest. And that's what we saw here on the daily. So freshly into a bearish trend. Let's get a closer look on the 4-hour. And we're looking to continue with that, right? For the most part, anyway. So again, this is the key zone, 0.76. Generally on the higher time frames, if we're below that, it's looking very bearish for AU, right? If we start to move above that, it's like, okay, we're back to bullish. We see the higher lows. We'll start taking long opportunities then. But pretty much as long as we're below that, we're bearish. So here are the two scenarios that are the most likely. Either we're going to reject pretty much right now, which price action is pulling back. It's testing broken structure. We also have fib levels here. So this would be new structure, tons of confirmation potential. We could get an MA cross, nice reversal setups, and then we're targeting lower. So this is the most likely, right? We're trying to ride the trend. This looks like a really great setup and could be a few confirmations away from a good trade. So this could be really nice. We're definitely looking for this first. This is the most likely to happen right now, as based on what we're seeing anyway. But if it breaks higher, gives us a higher low, this will then be a short-term bullish trend, right? I mean, short-term meaning lower time frame bullish trend. So this would be more like a 1 hour, 4-hour bullish trend. And this would be our next target up here, 0.76. Because again, that was the most significant level that was broken on the higher time frame. So naturally, that's where price action is going to go to next, especially if, the next time frame is in a bullish trend, and that would be confirmed here if we saw it. So this would be the other trade idea if it goes bullish on this time frame. All right, so AU is looking pretty good. Definitely pretty easy to follow. We'll see how it plays out this week and keep you guys updated. Next pair is AJ. It shares pretty similar sentiment as AU, but typically you'll see a little more volume. Sometimes it's a little more clear to find patterns on AJ because of that. But yeah, again, similar sentiment, looking pretty good. We experienced something very similar here on AJ as we did on AU. It was very bullish. Then we started, ranging a little bit. High volume continued. And then we had a very clear break, right? Price action shot down. We broke through multiple levels, including our weekly, pulled back for a deeper pullback, deeper retracement. It was a pretty, I think it hit the 78.6 on the fib level. So very, like as I was saying, more volume, right? Deeper pullback, more volume, and then it continued. So that was really nice to see. And we cleared the weekly entirely. Huge rejection off that. Again, just further confirmation. And now we shot down to the 200 EMA on this time frame. So we're definitely bearish, right? Lower lows, lower highs, breaking support, retesting as resistance. Definite characteristics of a downtrend. So let's drop to the 4-hour now. Get a closer look as to what could happen this week. Okay, let's just zoom this in a little bit. All right, cool. Very easy to see. Again, bearish, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and so on. And then we saw a nice pattern here. So this was the analysis from last week. We had this ascending triangle form kind of dancing around a key zone this weekly here. So we're expecting it to, push lower. We really wanted to just see a lower high below this weekly. So it actually pushed up to the 200 EMA real quick, considerably good amount of pips. Probably a stop hunt right there. Good wick to the upside, and then shot right back down. So that's what we wanted to see. Not exactly like this, but we were expecting this over here, this lower high. So once this played out, great confirmation, good rejection, nice entry opportunities in there. And it actually fell a little bit lower than I thought it would. We blew right through 82.2 down to a new low. So naturally, what would come next? Lower high if it is going to continue its trend, and that's what we're looking for. So the biggest confluence area for this time frame would be right about here, right at this 50%. We're pulling back to the MAs. We're going to test recently broken structure. This would be nice, a good area to see a reversal. And if we see all that play out, ideally, I don't want to take a short opportunity right above this support level. So what I want to see is this volume continue, good rejection there, and then ideally, a nice breaking candle through support that you could then enter on, or simply wait for the next lower high below that zone if you really want to be conservative. But either way, I mean, it's setting up, looks to be setting up to be a good little short setup here. And we would target down towards prior lows, 0%, and then down towards the negative fib levels, like our negative 27 fib level. So this would be pretty good. Pretty good setup if it plays out. We'll see. But for us to consider long opportunities on this time frame first, we definitely need to get back above this weekly. So 83.25, we need to clear that, see some higher lows, and then confirming setups for us to enter on. But only then. I mean, it could really pull back all this way and still be bearish. It could pull back, give us a lower high here, and then dump. So just watch that weekly. That's definitely the key level for this trend. Okay, so that's AJ looking pretty decent. Let's move over to UJ daily time frame. So this one looks very, very interesting. This probably could be the biggest trade potential for this week, and I'll get into that in a second. But we're just grabbing the trend here on the daily. So overall, very bullish, very, very bullish, and the volume is still kind of present here. It was pretty far away from this trend line, the supporting trend line. So it was overextended. We finally pulled back, still at support. So overall bullish still. Let's now go to the 4-hour and take a look at the setups that could, potentially play out. So definitely bullish, nice little channel here. So once price action was up here, this was the analysis last week. We're just going to do a quick recap. We were expecting it to reject to some degree, and we knew that the potential, once price action was here, we knew the potential could be all the way for price action to pull all the way back down to here. Because again, this is major support. This is kind of key support right here, right at 110. And price action could pull all the way back to their reverse and still be bullish. We just looked at that overall trend, guys, right? Very much still bullish. So that's exactly what we saw. It dipped very quickly, rejected very hard off this area. Good confluence in here. And now we're kind of sitting in between the MAs and the 200 EMA. So you can't really take a trade here, but we are a few confirmations away from taking a trade, which is good. So ideally, we want to see it push a little bit more into this zone, right? Really clear 110, show that it is true rejection, that it really is going to follow through with this reversal. And then we want to look to enter on higher lows. Typical characteristics of a bullish trend. You see them all through here, all entry opportunities after reversal. That would take place somewhere over here above 110. As long as we're above 110 and we see good volume and we see those confirmations and that higher low specifically, we could look to take long opportunities all the way back up to 111.5, which is, again, huge trade opportunity, as I was saying. Well over 100 pips, 120 pips, somewhere in there, depending on where we see those confirmations. But it's looking promising. Definitely the most likely scenario right now on UJ. All right, but let's say this fails. Let's say it completely fails to push up. It just rejects super hard right now. Let's say falls through 110. What would we need to see to go short? Lower highs. Any significant lower highs below 110, followed by strong bearish setups. Not too much, not too many wicks or candles with wicks or anything. You don't want to see indecision. You really want to see conviction after that lower high. Then yes, we could take shorts and start targeting lower down towards like the support level here, right around 109.15. And we'd play it that way. So whichever way this goes, I mean, we're ready. We're just following the market. We know here that we're closer to confirming a long opportunity rather than a short. So that's what we're looking at first. And we'll see how it plays out. All right, let's move over to EJ. It's got a little bit of room to run here, but we'll get into that in a second and start off on the daily. So this is also freshly bearish. I mean, we did see price action rally for a while on a lot of the majors. It hit a lot of key levels, and then they're reversing now, which is expected. And that's how the market moves. But this one as well, no different, right? Definitely newly bearish. After we were very, very bullish for a while, we reversed around the weekly. Nice slow reversal. Then the volume kicked in. We broke lower, gave us a lower high, some patterns in there, and then continued with more bearish conviction candles, moving us to a new support level. So definitely bearish. Let's go to the 4-hour now. See what we could spot here. Okay, so yeah, there's a little bit of consolidation in here. We were dancing around this level right at 132. Didn't really know where it wanted to go until we, showed some serious conviction, got a lower high below, and then it dumped. And then we shot down to 0%. Didn't break 0%, so the same fibs applied. right? From this measurement, this high to this low, price action is still within that. So fibs remain the same. Okay, so this means this is good for a few reasons. It makes confluence areas pretty easy to spot, especially in this particular scenario right now. We have recently broken structure right here, 131.3. So that becomes an interesting area. Price action could and is likely to pull back to that area where we'd look for reversals. We are now recently above the MA, so that could be a potential confirmation if we see a cross back through that. So this is just setting up pretty good. Essentially, we're anticipating price action to get into this confluence area, show us something, react in a way that we'd be able to capitalize on. And this trade path, this trade scenario is closer to happening than, a bullish one. So we're waiting for that reversal, seeing how price action reacts here, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, but until we get above this level, until we, if this completely fails, then we'll consider longs. We need to see a break of 132, higher low above that, and then it needs to follow through with conviction. So it's got to prove a lot to go bullish. So that's why we're just going to wait for the market to show us something, do its thing, and most likely it'll reverse here. I mean, that's how it's looking right now. So yeah, that's EJ, and let's move on to gold. This one is done on the daily time frame because it's really not showing us too much on the 4 hour. If I just zoom in here, like this is just all consolidation, all indecision, chop, chop, chop. Now it's just moving sideways above this key level, or before it was moving sideways below it. So again, just tons of chop. This was pretty much a whole week of price action. So there's really not much there. So what do we do when that's happening? We bump up time frames. Unfortunately, on gold, it brings us to the daily time frame. So that means that these trade scenarios are probably going to take a while to play out, guys. So that's why we're here. Right? We really want to just make sure that we're following what the price action is doing. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. We're not forcing any trades. And we see some rejection now, both sides. So it's indecisive. Price action is not doing much right now. We need to see conviction. We need to see lower highs. We need to see just volume in general. So right now, the most likely scenario is it will reverse, because we're at a key level. We're right around 1800. We're also at a key fib level. This would be the time for it to reverse and show us something, shoot back through the MAs, back through 1800, give us entry opportunities just below that level. And then we would continue short, and we'd be targeting back down towards the negative fib levels, maybe even down towards the monthly if that volume really is that great. But we really got to wait. We just got to wait for it to start showing us something. It's just sad to see on gold right now, to be honest. So we'll have to wait. But for us to go bullish, we need to see again. Just need to wait for confirmations. It needs to increase in volume, blow through the weekly, make it into this zone in a significant way, and then show us higher lows that we could then go long on. But even if you look to the left, like this was just consolidation in here, like all in this area. So I mean, it's got to show us a lot for us to really be interested in taking long opportunities. All right, so that's gold. I mean, I'll keep you guys updated on this one. It's going to take a while for this one to play out, but we did cover some pretty good scenarios on some of these other majors. So, whatever you got to do, refer to the analysis, jump in the Telegram, check it every other day, check your analysis with it, whatever you got to do. This will some of these will definitely play out and will prove to be pretty decent setups. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Yeah, I did drop it in Discord. I dropped it in Telegram. Covered DXY, AU, AJ, UJ, EJ, and Gold. And now Angelo's gonna go over his pairs. But yeah, thanks guys.
Yes, sir. All right, so I'm gonna hop on. If any of you guys got questions, I see there are some messages in the chat. Feel free to post up. We're gonna get into the major pairs now. So let's see here. Thanks for sharing. You go over US 30. We really don't trade US 30, at least with the swing trading. So guys, this session is specifically for swing trading. This is our swing trading analysis. So there's currently no like strategy for swing trading US 30. I don't really believe anyone swing trades US 30. It's more of like a intraday scalping, type pair because it moves so aggressively. Then we have someone that said Euro GBP. So yeah, we don't really trade that one as well. So we're gonna stick to just the normal pairs, that me and Nick always trade, which all the major pairs, Nick goes over the minor ones, and gold. So I'm gonna hop on, get started with NZD USD, and we're gonna just like always bump up to the weekly time frame, kind of just get an overall picture. What is going on with this pair? So I have these two zones marked, and it's based on this. We have support, support, resistance, 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 and then as we can see, we retested this level again. So this is certainly a huge level, a huge area where price is rejected multiple times. And then to the downside, we have the same situation here. We have all of this resistance. We have areas where it acted as support multiple times, acted as resistance, and then now this is currently where we're at. So the way that it looks, we just had this obviously this push to the downside. So I'm expecting this to continue lower to retest this 6-8 level, this 685 level. Because I mean, at this point, there's nothing telling us that it's going to like reverse until it comes down to this area, because this is previously where price is rejected, many times. So that being said, also last week we have the spinning top, spinning top. This was following this bearish push, this pullback. So this is telling me that after this bullish pullback, that price is now struggling to push higher. So ultimately, we're probably going to push to the downside. Let's just come to the 4 hour now. With the swing trading analysis, I always kind of just go from the weekly to the 4 hour time frame. On this one, we can very clearly see just kind of an overview of structure. We're not going to get too into these areas because we don't really need to right now. But you can see this low, this lower high, this new low, this lower high, this low, and then this is where we're currently at. And we are definitely coming into like a potential trade right now. I'm actually gonna, yeah. So this is actually like I might enter this realistically right now for the week. I'll go over in a second, but this is pretty much going to be the trade idea. I'm going to fib all the way up from this level to here just to get what my target is. And that also lines up with that lower zone that we were talking about. So that's pretty much what we're going to be targeting down here. We could even just move it down a little bit more so we get 2 to 1. But this is actually a trade that, let's see, that I want to take for this week. So I'm just going to pull this up. And I'll go over in a second what the confirmations are. So it's 673 pips or points. So I'm gonna do NU trade, and you went over DXY, right?
Yep.
0.75.
You could do it. Yeah, I mean, you could do
How's
it.
that looking? Because I didn't even look at that.
It's
670.
it's in a range. It's in a range, much like this is here.
70590. So, and then the TP is going to be 68540. 8540. All right, so we've got one trade idea out right now. So pretty much this zone that I have marked, this 4 hour zone, if we scroll out, this is based on this area where we found resistance, we found support multiple times. Then over here, we found resistance, we found support. So to me, this is an area where we could potentially see that reversal. And then considering last week at the end, this broke support here, came back up now for the retest. This is an area that has multiple confirmations. We've got 38.2 on the fib. We have this fibbed from this previous level, which is how we teach it inside the course. We have 38.2, we have the resistance. Now we're getting some rejection on the 4 hour time frame as well. So again, multiple time frame or multiple confirmations there. And yeah, we're going to look to just swing trade this for the week. If price starts to break to the upside, basically what we're going to do is if price breaks above this 7-0 zone right here, that's when we're going to look to exit the trade. So ideally, price breaks out of here if we start to go into drawdown and then pulls back to retest this level. And then that's when you would get out of the trade. And you not only would get out of the trade, but you can actually flip and have an idea to go long on this pair. So this is scenario one, shorts. Scenario two is to long back into these highs right there. And we would have, let's see, we would have like 80 pips where this thing could go to the upside and then obviously to the downside, we have 140 pips. So that's NU first pair, definitely showing some clean structure. We've got USEF as well. Let's just bump up to the weekly time frame. So these are interesting because these are inverse to that idea on NU. So NU, we're looking for the dollar to get stronger. Most of these other major pairs, I'm actually looking for the dollar to continue to weaken. I mean, look at the 4-hour time frame, or actually the weekly. Just using like price action, we can clearly see right here that we have this long wick to the upside, and we're also in a downtrend. So we're in a downtrend, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. We had this big push up right here, but we're still, maintaining kind of this resistance level. And last week had this, long wick. So coming down even to the 4-hour time frame right here, price just had this little double top. So basically, if DXY breaks this level, then we're going to see this thing start to just shoot to the downside right here. Boom. So that's pretty much DXY. And if this thing starts to push to the downside, then most of these, like NU, that trade will become invalidated. But these trades, USEF will start to move very quickly. So looking at the weekly, first on USEF, we have this level right here. So we have support, then we have resistance, and then we had this little break up. We broke back below. So this is definitely a significant zone up here. We didn't quite hit it, but we are trading below that level. And then look at last week, we had this engulfing candle with both of these wicks like a tweezer top to the upside. So this is telling me, weekly time frame is telling me that the sellers are kicking in. Coming down to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, pretty much we have two zones marked here. One is this zone right here. So pretty much what I was looking at with this one is we just have all this resistance over here. And even if I scroll out a bit more, so we have all this resistance over here. We have resistance here, and then we have the support here. So this is exactly how we draw our key levels. So this is kind of my first zone that I'm, liking how price has broken below. It's already retested it. And then look at the wick, so ideally we should have entered here at 91470, about 10 pips higher. But I might actually enter this one right now because it already showed us what we wanted to see. Broke support, you know what I mean? Weekly's broke this level, so weekly has that bearish engulfing. So it's showing signs of a lot of sellers in the market. So the first trade idea would literally be to short it right now and then have stops probably around like 45 pips above this previous high right here. And then we would just try to swing trade it to the downside. Now, the more, high probability trade or, less risk would be to actually wait for a longer pullback here. If I were to fib this, price can make it up all the way to this 921 level. We got the 618 there. We've got the previous resistance there. So this would definitely be an area once we saw like wicks or something, that would be like a super like high probability trade. But I'm going to probably take a short on this one. I'll have a entry on NU, which will be, biased towards the dollar getting stronger. And then I'll also have an entry on USEF, which is biased towards the dollar getting weaker. And then we could definitely see, one of them run and then just cut the loser short, depending on how DXY was up. The volume is super slow today. There's not much volume. I think it's just starting to kind of kick in from when the market opened, like 3.5 hours ago. So let's see. We got USEF 45 pepperonis. That's what you like, dude. You have like pepperoni sandwiches, right?
Yeah, man. I
Dude,
always
you
get the
you see Italy just won the World Cup, dude, or not the World
really?
Cup, the Euro Cup.
Wow. Wow, that's big news.
Euro Cup, dude. Yeah.
You got any soccer fans here?
And he's like,
I know
the
some of
last
you
time
guys
they
have
were
been
in,
watching.
bro, last time they were in the final, I was in Italy and they lost. We were watching it.
Fellow Paisans.
Yeah, and it was like, dude, people were like literally like breaking cars and shit. It was bad.
Oh yeah, dude, It's serious.
Yeah. So they won. I think they've won their last like 35 matches, which is insane.
Yeah, it's nice. They're good, man. They're a good team.
Yeah, it was interesting. So let's see. That's Youssef. Let's bump over to the fan favorite, GU. So let's see what's going on with this pair. We'll go up to the weekly time frame. We have these two zones. We have zone numero uno. If I pull back, so we have some support all the way back here. We have support right there. Resistance here. Obviously, we have resistance here. So that's my first key level. And then I have this level. So we have resistance. And then pulling this across, we have some support right there. So not the, as significant as before, but still we have the rejection here, the support here, and then we have some consolidation, but more support right there. So pretty much what I'm looking for on this one, what I noticed is this trend is very bullish. It's been bullish for quite some time, since May 2020. So over a year, this thing has been bullish. We came down from these highs, started to test this low, and we failed to break lower. So we successfully kind of defended this level, this 137 level, 1378. And then now last week even formed a bullish engulfing there. So let's see how this looks on the 4-hour time frame. So 4-hour time frame, we can clearly see momentum was bearish. So forming these lows, lower highs, lower low, lower high, new low right here, retesting that low. And then pretty much we had a break of this. So we've got a break of the trend line. And last week, if you guys were on the call last week, we took a trade very early. So I signaled a buy position here. And we talked about this on the call, that this trade was a little bit more high risk. It went up about 40 pips and then it just shot down. So we were talking about on the call, it probably would have been more advisable to wait for that classic, push up, retest, back down, whatever. Based on our analysis last week, that would have been a way better move, but we longed it right here. So then it ended up coming to the downside. And once it started to reject, we have this huge rejection here. We have some rejection down here. Then it started to fly to the upside. So those buyers are kicking in right now, and we can't do anything with it. There's literally no trade at the moment. But if this thing does start to retrace and like finds that support after this move, after this momentum, then this will be a long opportunity. So that's GU, no trades on it right now, but definitely monitoring that. Then we've got UCAD. So UCAD is interesting. I'm just going to start on the weekly, and as always, we've got the support turned into resistance, break of support right here, retesting it almost, not quite, but then breaking support, retesting it over and over and over again. And that's exactly where we're at again. Price has done what? We have broken support, come back, retested as resistance. Now we'll be looking for this thing pretty much to head lower. Pretty much to head lower. But I mean, last week's candle, we have this inverted kind of hammer candle. This is normally like a reversal type candle at the end of like a bearish push, but this is kind of at the top. So I can't really identify, anything too relevant with that. And then coming down to the 4-hour, this is where, it doesn't line up with that bearish bias that I have in mind from the weekly. This is clearly in an uptrend. It's clearly forming these highs, these higher lows, retesting the high, higher low, pushed up to a new high right here. So I have two ideas on this one. If price holds above this area, we could start to see like it retest this previous high. Not exactly the best swing trade. That's why this is kind of my last pair, not exactly high on the watch list for this week. But on the flip side, if this thing does manage to actually break down here, this is going to be a really simple swing opportunity that you can take to the downside here. So I'm just going to mark this up really quickly. We target down there. Realistically, we'd probably put our stops in this area if price did manage to break below here. We've got resistance here, resistance here. There's no need to put it all the way up there. So we put stops around this area. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out for the week. Basically, if this not only if this engulfs, I'd have to see a little bit more kind of conviction than just an engulfing candle because the last four candles, it's all bearish right here. But it's either find support, go to the upside, break support, go to the downside. So that's UCAD. Next, let's go to GBP, JPY. So let's see. Let's bump up to the weekly time frame. All right, so weekly time frame. On this one, we can clearly see that price has been bullish, for quite some time. Right here, just like GU, very similar chart. Zooming out, I do have this resistance marked. We have support here, resistance here, resistance here. So price already rejected that, and then just kind of observe the candle, do some candlestick analysis, kind of see what the bias is, see where the levels are, and then what is the candlestick telling you from the previous week. Last week, this is telling me price tried to move to the downside, obviously rejected the fuck out of it, so that this thing could now push up, And the reason why, I'm saying that is because this has been bullish, so it would pretty much be continuing this move if it did push up. Now, as we go into the 4 hour, this is where it gets kind of tricky with that idea, because ultimately the 4 hour time frame, is pretty fucking bearish. So if we just kind of map it out, we have this, and then we have just consolidates up here, which is nothing, and then we have this push to the downside, and then this is now where we are currently at. So price is definitely in a downtrend on this 4 hour time frame. I'm personally just going to stay away from this because I don't have like a concrete idea when it comes to GU. Last week we had this short idea, which played out really well. Rejected this area and then just flew to the downside. Anyone that was on the call, that was given out. It was like 290 pips. This thing moved. So crazy movement last week on GJ. This week, again, it's just not super clean right now. If I'm looking at the 4 hour time frame, where would be sort of a support or resistance level? We have this level right here. So this would really be the trade on GJ. Price coming back up to this high and then retesting it and then trying to swing it again to the downside. So swings on GJ could be in order, but we just need it to come into this like area where we actually have some liquidity or some rejection. And then to the flip side, that would be your long idea. So this is idea number one. Got 50, and then we would target. Obviously, this would kind of be our first target down there. Well, this would be our first target, like up here, and then we would target even lower, back to this low. But that's idea number one. And then we can just move this over. And then pretty much this would be idea number two. If we have that break and retest, and we'd probably put stops, depending, how this moves and everything, but I'd put stops like below support right there. So that's our GJ ideas, our GJ idea for the week. I'm going to get all my analysis published in Telegram. I believe Nick already has all of his analysis posted in there as well. And you can come back, during the week, see how things are playing out. All you got to do is go to the links that we post. And if this thing will ever load, and then you can actually play forward these little trade ideas. Take this off. So yeah, last week we didn't, we weren't able to meet on Friday and do the live call. We just kind of did like a YouTube video, but last week we'll probably be back doing the lives, just chopping it up with you guys because we know everyone appreciates going on the live calls and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it for all of my analysis. We got some updates that we're gonna do, so I'm gonna go ahead and unshare. Then we've got, oh dude, people are so funny. We've got this. So I'll go ahead and reshare. I'll show the Telegram. All right, so we've got right now a little sale going on for the funded traders, so people that are involved with that. We've got the first trader interview, so that's on YouTube, and then until 12 a.m. tonight, we've got this 10% off plus 115% refund for any of the standard account challenges. So if you guys want to get started, with a challenge for this week, definitely use the coupon code so you guys can get in on that for tonight. For you Forex League members, you already have 15% off. So if you are getting a challenge, and you are in the lifetime membership, just use that code instead. And then we've also got some updates around the signals. So the rapid signals, what I'm doing right now is we have this Telegram copier that's we're currently testing, and basically it copies all the trades in there. There are a lot of fucking trades in the rapid signal room. There's like literally 10 trades per day. So, it could become overwhelming when you're seeing like so many orders, and we have multiple traders in here helping us out with it. And sometimes they do give the same position, the same order over again. But this Telegram copier that we are creating will take all of the trades automatically for you. So basically, when it sees the trade, it'll read where to sell, where to put your stop loss, where to take profit, and it's basically like an EA on your MT4, and so it interacts with your MT4 platform and will take the trades when they get sent out. So these are all just kind of screenshots from last week from some of the trades that were given out. And if you guys want to get in, the price will be going up in probably in like September, end of the summer time frame. We're looking to add the copier and then also doing these psychology sessions for the group. So just adding more value to the group. We're trying to, make it more of like an educational thing along with the signals as well. We do live trading on there. For the New York 2 with one of our members. He does the live trading on there for everybody. Let's see this. When will the copier be ready? The copier is actually ready now. I'm basically just testing it with the signal room just to make sure that everything works, really well. So yeah, well, the copier really pretty much is ready. So will be released soon. Yeah, Darren, your account did get I believe you already got pushed for a retry, and you should have received an email. And I believe you already should have received your account too. But I'll double check on that. I would just check your spam because I saw that all get processed today. And then yeah, so $50 for the rapid signals for you guys that are interested. Monthly recurring. If you want to sign up there, and then that's pretty much it. Week's about to get kicked off. Volume's about to kick in and everything like that. So I'll post up the rest of my analysis, and you guys can follow along for the week, and then we'll catch back up on Friday on the next free call.
Hell yeah. All good things, guys. Big updates. Week's looking good ahead. So yeah, let's get it this weekend. We'll see you guys in chats in the community. We'll have a good one.
Oh yeah. We'll chat soon, Florian. Have a nice week, everyone.